that everything in nature expressed divine design and purpose, that things were put there by God. They'd been designed for what they did, and the reason they were there was because he thought it was important and necessary. So that if you studied natural history, what you were actually doing was studying God's plan for the history of the world.
The greatest exponent of divine design was the Reverend William Paley. His book, Evidences of Christianity, was one of Darwin's set texts at Cambridge.
The argument for design, the classic way to talk about that is if I take my watch. You know, if you go into a forest, if I can get my watch off, if you walk into a forest and you see a watch, you pick it up and you say, oh, there's this mechanism for telling time, all kinds of wheels and cogs. And you then infer from this beautifully designed instrument that there must have been a watchmaker, a designer. Okay. Paley applied this analogy to all of nature. So all the beautiful mechanisms or adaptations, as we would call them, that allow an organism to survive in its particular environment, he saw as designful and therefore pointing to God, to a designer. Well, for Darwin, of course, he's instructed in Paley. He loved Paley as an undergraduate at Cambridge. Makes a special effort even to read more than was required of him for the exam he passed. But ultimately, Paley becomes the creature, the concept of design becomes that which he has to argue against. Darwin opens up the possibility to have a belief that is in nature rather than a belief in an external creator. Someone sees this flower and it's so beautiful that they think this must refer to God. Whereas someone else could see beauty in nature and say, I understand how this was made, and that's awesome.